Hey guys, welcome to our video, and this will be a start of some videos that we'll do where it's just a simple definition type of video. So we take a financial term or a legal term and try to give a short explanation. I know sometimes I don't always give short explanations, but hopefully it'll still be useful to you. So how about the rule of 72? This comes up in finance, it comes up in interest rates, it comes up in looking at rates of return for investments. And so basically what this rule is it tells you at a certain interest rate or rate of return, how long before the money doubles. Now that could be a good thing if you have an investment that's making interest or rate of return for you. It's a bad thing if we're talking about debt that you owe, but still, it's just a simple rule of thumb to figure out how long before it doubles. So this is not 100% accurate, but it is really, really good. Now, once you get up maybe over 20%, 30%, it starts to lose its accuracy. But if we're talking about 6%, 10%, 12%, 15%, it's really accurate. So it can be a nice little way to check something maybe when you don't have access to actually doing the calculation. And we'll talk about that in a second. So here's just a simple example. 6% interest or 6% return on investment divided into 72. So 6 divided into 72 goes in there 12 times. So 12 years to double. Well, what about 12%? Well, that would double in 6 years. 12 divided into 72 would be 6. How about 8%? Well, 8 divided into 72 is what? Like 9, right? So it would double in 9 years. Well, how about if it's 10% interest or 10% gain every year? And we're talking about when this is compounding. Well, that would be about 7.2 years. So where does this come up? This is really handy if maybe you're in a conversation with somebody. So you're dealing with a financial advisor, and the financial advisor says, hey, if you put this money in today, don't touch it. It'll double in 6 years. You go, oh, okay, that's great. What's the rate of return? And he says 20%. 20%. If it doubles in 6 years, that's more like 12%. So either there's been a misunderstanding somewhere. So you can go, well, wait a minute. Tell me again, what's the rate of return? And he says, whatever his number is. And you go, well, wait a minute, that's not right. Or there's some huge expense involved. So he says, that's 20% rate of return. You'll double in 6 years. You're like, okay, there must be 8%. And again, we're using kind of rough numbers. This is just rule of thumb. Must be 8% that's coming off in expenses somehow. Because I would double in 6 years if it was 12% rate of return. Well, same thing, maybe you're dealing with a debt collector, and debt collector says you owe $1,000, and you say, it can't be $1,000. I only had this debt out for a little bit, and he goes, oh, it doubled because of interest. Well, what's the interest rate? He says, 10%. And you only were behind or having interest charged for a couple years. Well, there's no way that that's possible. So you still want to always check it. Get out your phone, open up your computer, check it. But this is just a quick sort of mental math that you can do very easily. And I've used this all the time in depositions where questioning people under oath, and they make a statement, and they're a financial person, they're a debt collector, and they say it very confidently. And I don't have to look at a calculator or do the math on a piece of paper. It's just simple math. And I go, wait a minute, are you testifying that at a 6% rate of return, the investment would double in, it would take 20 years to double? Or again, if it's a debt collector, are you saying that at 14% interest that this thing's going to double every 3 years? And then you can kind of test and see how confident they are about it. So, but for those of you that are watching that aren't lawyers, it's just really nice to have this rule of thumb, and it makes sure that you're in the right ballpark, and then you can check it precisely. So hope that that's helpful to you, and appreciate you watching this. If you have any questions or comments, put those below, and be glad to take a look at those. And have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.